What's up, y'all? On the podcast today, we have a friend of mine, Miles Hill, on. Miles Hill is currently a team lead and acquisition specialist with Excite Capital Investment, where they invest in multifamily properties. Miles is also eager to connect with other multifamily investors as he focuses on the southeast region of the U.S. Previously, Miles served 10 years in the U.S. Navy, and he split that time aboard the USS Nimitz and also at Naval Station Mayport. Check out the podcast. I really think you guys are going to enjoy it.
It's looking like a card of paparazzi. Two phones in my pocket talking. Yeah, I got it. Black card in my wallet. If I want it, then I cop. Shotgun, right shot it. I don't need nobody.
What's up, brother? Shine time. Back again. It's episode 4 of season 2. Cheers, brother.
Cheers, brother, man. Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely, man. It's a pleasure. Hopefully we can give the people some value and catch up in the process, man. So the first thing we do is we establish, which now it's obvious because we cheers, if it's liquor or lightning is what we call it. So it's liquor or caffeine, and we're going to go with liquor this time. So it's one of those vibes, just so y'all know from the jump. So first thing we get into is trivia. All right, we got 5 questions. If you get 4 or 5 of them right, then I'll take a shot. If you get 3 of them right, we both take a shot.
Okay.
If you only get 1 or 2, then you take a shot.
Sounds fair.
You down?
Have you ever had anyone that got all 5 right or all 5 wrong?
I don't think I've had anyone get all 5 wrong. I usually put at least 1 or 2 easy, if I feel like easy ones in there, because I don't want to do that to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a couple of layups. But I think I've had at least 1 or 2 people get all 5 right. I've definitely taken the shot by myself a couple of times for sure, where they're on a roll.
I'm gonna get all 5 of these right real quick.
Yeah, let's see what we can do. So, first question: where is Mike Tyson from? It's the states. So is it New York, Illinois, or California?
This man came off the top rope with the first one. I'm gonna go with Illinois, because as soon as you initially, I'm glad you gave me the multiple choice, because I was scared at first, but I'm gonna go with Illinois.
Final answer?
Final answer.
It's New York.
It's New York.
I got him on the first one.
I was like Chicago, but it just caught to my mind, but damn, okay.
And that's exactly why I put Illinois on there, because I was like, I don't think most people would say he's from Cali. They probably say he's from somewhere in the Northeast. Or that's kind of Northeast. It's like Midwest, I guess. But like a big city, like a hard city like that. Chicago, New York, those are similar. Like, that's why I put that one in there. I got you on that one.
Because of the pigeons. I know he raised pigeons on a roof.
Yeah. Exactly, bro. Okay. I got one. Number 2. This is a semi-Memphis trivia here. All right. In which branch of the military was Elvis enlisted? And I can give you a hint if you want one. I don't know if it'll help, but it might.
I don't think I need a hint, man, right now. I'm gonna phone a friend in a bit, okay? Go over 3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess Air Force.
You're gonna guess Air Force. All right, do you want the hint?
I'm wrong. Let me get the hint, because there's some other branches floating out there.
All right, he was drafted.
Ooh, Army.
Okay, I get you that. Sorry, 1 and 1.
I appreciate the hint, man. I needed that. I couldn't go for 2.
Yeah, and it's, bro, I wouldn't have known. I would have just been throwing a branch out there myself. You know what I mean? So.
These questions so far, T.
And I feel like it's fun too. It's not necessarily just for us and the shot, but also to just kind of give the listener something fun. You know what I mean? Some new fact they know. And I tailor them a little bit to the person that's coming on. So, all right, this one's kind of. This question could be for anybody. Then the next 2 are going to be tailored to where I think more so going to be easier for you to get probably. So the third one, we're 1 and 1 right now. Third one is, who has more Instagram followers? Is it Joe Rogan or Tom Brady?
Man, it's literally 50-50. I shouldn't just think, man.
50-50.
I'm gonna go Joe Rogan.
It's final answer.
Final answer.
It's Joe Rogan.
Alright.
You got it. So right now you got 2. So all you got to do is get 1 more of the next two, and then we at least both take a shot. If you get two more, or if you get both of them right, sorry, then I'll take a shot by myself. Question 4. In basketball, men play with the size 29.5 ball. What size do women play with?
28.5. Locking it in.
All right, you got it. All right, so we're at least taking a shot together.
All right, that sounds good, man. I'm gonna start prepping.
Question 5. Now you can lock it into where it's only me taking a shot.
I ain't gonna leave you out there by yourself.
I put it in a weird order. This is probably gonna be an easy one for you.
Okay.
So we'll see. In the movie, Like Mike, starring Bow Wow as Calvin, Calvin finds shoes that used to belong to what NBA legend?
Tyler, you should have started with this layup.
This is to give you so you get your get back. This is Michael Jordan. All right.
I ain't gonna have you shooting by yourself, bro.
All right, shots together.
Yes, sir.
All right, let me grab my glass over here.
Are you gonna be taking a shot of that TX?
Yes, or I can take a shot of what did I put in here? I think this is Buffalo Trace. I got this pistol right here. It's a pistol decanter.
Yo, so I watched one of the episodes and I seen you brought that out. Let me show you mine real quick.
Oh no, what we got?
I left Florida.
Dang, he won on me.
When I got out the Navy, they gave me this, but it broke on the way. But I just got to probably super glue it down.
Oh, dang, is it an AR?
Uh-huh.
Dang, that's clean, bro. All right, brother. Cheers to you.
Cheers, brother.
Whoa, let me forget. All right, so the first topic I got for us is your early life. Okay, so first question's kind of broad. I'll let you kind of run with it however you want to, and we'll go from there. But what, as far as you growing up when you were younger, what makes Miles, or what made Miles? Like, what makes you who you are growing up? Like, what do you think, like, the culture in your house was, like, the style of upbringing, you know what I mean? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I love that question, Tyler. So I would say, man, moving. Like, so my dad was in the military. We moved every 3 to 4 years, right? But with that, and I didn't realize this until later in life, but what that allowed me to do is be able to make new friends and go into any room and be myself and still not have to, like, compromise who I was. And, man, later in life, I can still, like, do the same things. And I contributed to being forced to, like, every time we moved from Florida to California or California to Memphis, I remember crying, bro, like being in my room, like I just made these friends and it took me like a few months to make them, and then like now I gotta leave as soon as like we're coming close. Man, it made me who I am, because now I can just move and never like got to change up for this group of people and then change who I am for this group of people. I can just move into any different room and remain myself. So
That's a valuable trait. So, and that was that because of the military stuff with your dad?
Mm-hmm. Navy is like every 3 to 5 years you have to change duty stations.
So inside the household, was it like military style? Was your dad like that? Was he keeping on y'all that hard?
So fortunately, you know, I grew up in, my mom and my dad was together for most of my life, right? So we definitely had that balance. When my dad was strict, not saying my mom was lenient, but she had that, you know, that motherly, caring. Yeah, so I definitely have both sides, but definitely like bed made, room clean before we go outside, stuff like that. Like very strict, structured, but man, I feel like every house needs that.
I agree, absolutely. So let me ask you this. You got 2 older brothers. Do you think that the moving around, you were younger than them at the time of all of that, or throughout your lives, did it affect them in different ways than it affected you? Do you think?
Like, talk to them about that, but I'm sure it did. Because just how I was, like, meeting these new people, and then, like, shortly after leaving them for forever, they were doing the same thing. So we would always have, like, close friend groups, like, I'm like 4 years younger than my older brother, 3 years younger than my middle brother. So we ran with the same people. So
Okay.
we were all leaving them at the same time. So I'm sure of it. But man, I've never asked them that.
What did you originally want to be when you grew up? Do you remember?
It was a pilot. When I used to live in California, man, we would like ride bikes, do skateboards. Man, I was in the backyard building planes, dude. Like
Yeah.
sticks and stuff. I always wanted to fly. So I always had like this hankering towards aviation, but at the same time real estate. Like when around that same time, so this is probably like 2000, 2001, I asked my mom to buy me like this software to design houses. And it was like a professional software at the time. I didn't know until like high school. She bought this when I was in elementary school, but yeah, I used to always design houses as like a little kid. So
That's cool. You were already into it at an early age, and so that kind of plays into why you got into real estate, right? I'm assuming.
man, it's wild how things come full circle. Because getting out the military, Tyler, I did not know I was gonna be doing what I'm doing now. I
Really?
thought I would get out the Navy and then be air traffic controller for the FAA.
Mm-hmm.
So many of my people did it, like getting out the military, making that transition. And honestly, when I was getting out the Navy, that's what I was prepping for, to join the FAA. So being able to do this real estate stuff now is really God's timing and God's plan, man.
That's facts, big facts, bro. But you know what? It's good too to have like you have that experience too, to where if you ever did need to go to that for some reason, you know, like you have that resume, you know, that gives you those options, because options are never a bad thing in life. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely not. And man, I miss it, dude. Like
Yeah.
every time I see a plane in like just flying over like the house, I'll stop, dude. Like whatever I'm doing, I'll stop and just look at it and just like, man, I want to talk to that pilot. I want to like control it. I'm very passionate about air traffic control, but I love what I do now though.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that too. We're gonna get into the real estate stuff. Talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. So, tell me, at what age did you start considering the military, or really think that was where you were gonna go with life?
Man, I threw a curveball at everybody. So I was supposed to go to the University of Memphis out of high school.
Okay.
So to answer your question directly, I was 18. I made the determination that I was going to go to the military probably spring time of my senior year.
Okay.
I didn't tell no one. I didn't put it on paper or nothing like that. But I made that determination. Like, you know what? Like, I knew how I grew up, and even though I hated it then, I'm so grateful for it now. I wanted to give a similar upbringing to my kids. So when I made the determination to like hop into the military, that's my mom, all my friends in high school, they were surprised, man.
Actually, one of my questions is, you know, like the way, kind of like the way you were brought up with the military style, you know, and that being part of the culture of your house. Is that something you want to pass on, or was it something that you disliked so much that, you know, you kind of want to dial back and you don't want to be as gritty in that sense? So is it like just you kind of want to do it just like you grew up with, or you want to dial it back a little bit, or?
That's an outstanding question. I never put thought on it, but I would say dial it back, sort of. And not necessarily like my dad was OD, nothing like that. Just making it my own parenting style, and I'm still working on it, man. Literally, being a dad is like one of the most challenging things. It's so rewarding, but it's like it's forever changing. So we're still trying to find my own parenting style. 7 years of experience, but I'm still.
I'm sure it'll feel that way the whole time, man. I'll tell you what, I can't wait. Like, I was one of those people, and like my girl will laugh at me because this is not very common for guys to feel this way, I don't feel like. But even when I was a kid, I remember thinking as a kid, man, it would be so cool to be a dad. It would be so cool to like teach a little version of you, especially I was thinking like a little boy, right? Like, but it will be so cool to teach a little version of you, or a little human, how to grow up, or what you think is right, because sometimes what you think is right is not necessarily what your parents or your friends or your uncles or grandpa or grandma think is right. So like it's like your individual you get to raise, you know, and kind of see how they develop. And I don't know, I always, like, I was the kid at like the family gatherings, I would like want to go hold the baby.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I loved babies and little kids. Like I always wanted to be playing with them. Like I even babysat sometimes as a as a kid, which is, I think, probably not common for boys. Like, most parents are like, we ain't leaving the babies with a little boy.
I said, I see what you mean when you mentioned that. Dude, I was the opposite, man. I was terrified. My daughter, when she was born, she's the first baby I've ever held. Yes.
Ever in your life?
Because I was scared to drop the baby. I mean, I was scared. I was petrified during that moment, man. But I remember the day she was born, dude. This is how I describe it. Literally, like, the whole room just, like, grayed out. And, like, all the lights in the room just was focused on her, bro. She was born 9:30 a.m. And in that time, bro, time froze, dude. It was the craziest, like, experience, man. And the watch that I had at the time, I keep it set to that 9:30 in the day she was born. Because it's probably one of the coolest moments of my life, honestly.
But I already know that I'm going to feel the same way. It's like I can't feel any, I know that I won't be able to feel any other way. Like, I've been looking forward to it for so long, you know? Why the Navy?
Man, you answered some great questions. So, for the longest, dude, people were like, oh, you're following your dad's footprints. And how it is, I'm following the same path, but I'm making my own footprints. So, why the Navy? My dad, he prepared me. Like, I remember, like, headed to my first duty station, and just that conversation, because he made the drive with me from Tennessee to Washington State, and he was just prepping me the whole time. But I chose the Navy before then because I saw how they were treating my dad, like how my dad was able to move through life. I was like, man, okay, this must be like a stable occupation, so that's why the Navy.
Gotcha.
I never even considered other branches, honestly.
Your brothers, are both of them military?
No, so Jamal, my middle brother, he was in the Army for a few years, and yeah, Winston didn't go to the military.
Okay, gotcha. Let me ask you this. Did your dad ever tell you, or did you ever know that I reached out to your dad to write me a recommendation letter for the Navy?
No!
Yeah.
I never knew this. The officer?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like, yeah, because I never had to have a recommendation, but I know if you want to be commissioned, you do. Okay, that's solid.
We didn't get to the point of the actual letter, but, like, I was really heavily considering it. I worked in San Antonio for a couple of years when I first got out of college, and I wasn't, like, progressing money-wise like I wanted to. And I was looking at, like, you know, what would I be in the military as an officer, and, like, where am I at, and my progression, like, you know, what would come faster as far as money-wise. And then I was always attracted to that lifestyle because I'm a very regimented, like, person of, like, I want to know what's going on. I want to know if I'm there this many years, I make this much money. You know, I like that type of style. So I was really heavily considering, and I kind of mentioned to my dad a little. I didn't tell my mom because she was going to freak out, bro, just because you may move wherever, you know. And I gave myself 3 months. I said, all right, if I'm going to be on the job market, if I find something that makes, you know, I had a certain amount in my head, more than that by the 3 months, and I think it's a good place where I want to go to if I have to move or whatever, then I'm going to do that. If not, I had, like, all the paperwork done. Like, I just needed to go take my ASVAB and stuff.
You were ready.
Yeah, fully, like, I mean, not fully, but, like, I was, you know, really close. I was committed. I was all on YouTube looking up videos, and the Navy was, like, where I was, you know, the most, it was, like, the highest on my list. And I ended up finding a job during that time where I made the amount, and I was like, maybe this is, like, a sign from God, like, that's what I should do, because that was my plan.
That's a short window. See, like 3 months to, like, secure something else. So yeah, you're absolutely right. That's God's, like, plan right there, just playing out.
I do trust in that, you know. I trusted that that's what I should do, and so I took that path, and that led me to where I'm at, you know, today. So I don't ever have any regrets, even though it is fun to wonder, like, where would I be, or where would I have moved, where would I have been able to travel, all those things. Who would you say growing up? So I would say till maybe you got out of high school and before. Who was the biggest influence on your life?
So if I just had to pick one person, I would say just my father. But, like, definitely, like, my parents. But to take that a step further, my immediate family. So my mom, dad, and my brothers definitely had the biggest impact on me, especially coming up. I was, you know, spending the most time with them. Unfortunately, probably doing things the wrong way because of some of them. Learning.
I already know that's the older brothers.
Yeah, so they sort of trailblazed it, and I just had this clean little path to walk through. So, yeah, I would definitely say my immediate family.
That's a special thing, man. Because I feel like it's tough on some kids when they don't have anywhere to look inside the home like that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
All right,
yeah.
so, all right, go ahead.
To take that a step further,
Mm-hmm.
like households that don't have I don't want to get like too deep into it, but like that nuclear upbringing, that paternal love, that maternal love, like I don't know, I think it's crucial, man. But that's a slippery slope in today's society to talk about. But man, yeah, I feel like more people need to have conversations like that because people need that. People need that fatherly love, that fatherly attention, and they need that motherly love as well. So
Bro, 1,000%, man. I couldn't agree more, and it's so it like makes me happy to know that you feel that same way. You know what I mean? Because I do truly think it's like something that this is kind of something I came up on my own. I guess I'm sure other people have thought this same way before, but I think almost every single problem, if someone could think of a problem we have in the U.S., or because that's what I know. I can't speak for other countries, but almost every problem we have in the U.S. could be resolved in some way, even if it's like a branch off way of more people having a nuclear family experience, like you're talking about.
we talking now. Yeah, absolutely. Because like, if there was discipline within the house, people wouldn't be out here taking other people's lives or stealing cars and doing all this reckless stuff. It's like they don't value anything, and that value. We sort of talked about it when we first started. Like the value,
Mm-hmm.
that value starts in the house, right? So you're absolutely right, man. I agree 100% with that.
So let me ask you this, a little bit more of a lighthearted question. So, who was your sports idol growing up?
Ooh, Ray Allen.
Ray Allen, a shooter. So you like the hand in the cookie jar.
So yeah, so Ray Allen, definitely he known for his shoot, like or his shot, right?
Mhm.
But bro, when he was in Milwaukee, this man was driving. He was in a dunk contest. People don't get like knowing that. Like Ray Allen, this man.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yep. In his early career, when he, I'm not sure if he got drafted to Milwaukee, but he definitely played with the Bucks and driving. He still had that burner on him, but yeah, he was a slasher too. So I definitely not his shot, but like that aspect of his game, trying to get to the goal. I definitely try to mirror or model my game after that. But yeah, Ray Allen, man.
Okay, hey, bro, that's
Yeah,
in that.
question. I know you're asking me questions. Let me ask you this question.
Okay, ask me. I'm down. Down.
Do you remember Game 6? It was the Heat versus the Spurs in the finals, right?
Yeah. Oh, you already know.
Where were you in that? Do you remember where you were in the world when you hit
Ooh.
that shot?
Oof. Oh, I don't know if I remember. Let me think though. Let me think. I know part of the Heat's run. I was in Memphis, or maybe I was just traveling back to Memphis during the tournament. You know, like fuck. Excuse my language.
It's your show. You can say whatever you want.
Damn, I don't know if I remember that, but bro, I know how iconic the moment was.
Yes. So Tyler, that's one of like those moments that is as iconic, like you mentioned. And someone asked me that like maybe a few years back, and I was like, damn, that's a solid ass question. But I was in air traffic control school, just got out of boot camp, and I'm sitting in this like room studying away, right? Because we had tests like every week, so you had to be like studious. I'm studying, and I'm watching the game too.
Yeah.
Dude, all my study material went flying, dude. Like, because I had like, oh, this game over with. Let me get back to studying.
Yeah.
And then heard that bang, bro. Like what? That stuff just went across the room. It's the most hilarious thing ever. But
So career wise, we're going career now. So what would you say is the best thing that came out of your time in the Navy?
I'm gonna say that the skills that I learned in air traffic control, and
Okay.
and what I mean by this is just like what I do now doesn't necessarily relate to what I did back then, but how I sort of see it, like there's no parallels, true, but the parallel I see is every single day I walked into that control facility, it presented a new challenge, and it was about solving that challenge. And what I do now in the real estate sector is solving problems and looking for opportunities, and no 2 days are the same. So the skills that I learned as an air traffic controller, being able to like sit down on position and talk to different pilots and formulating a plan in your mind, and then like using your voice to make that plan happen. And then if something happens that alters it, being able to like formulate a new plan, man, just like that forward dynamic thinking, I use it every single day now. So that skill right there is unmatched when it comes to anything that I could take away from. Besides the relationships that I love some of my people that I met in the military. Besides that skill that I learned is untangible, and it's gonna forever bring me like forward in my life. So, yeah.
Bro, I think that's very important for all of us to not just think of, okay, I don't do that job anymore. What's new in life? This is completely new. It's separate from that. You're looking at it like you're taking from what you learned there and applying it, and that's very important. People would, a lot of times they take for granted what they've been through instead of applying what they've learned moving forward,
I love that. I love that, man.
Where all have you moved around to?
Okay, so I was born in Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
Moved to Virginia, like right outside of Washington, D.C. Moved to Jacksonville, Florida. And then from Jacksonville, we moved to Monterey, California. From California, I moved to Memphis. That's where my dad retired, so I spent a lot of my childhood living in Memphis. And then when I left for the Navy myself, and this is how things come full circle, right? The first aircraft carrier I was stationed on, my dad was stationed on it, so I moved back.
Wow.
Like the place where I was born, I moved back to. And then my second command was Naval Station Mayport in Jacksonville, Florida. I lived there before, so my dad was stationed on that same base. So things like come back. So I would literally, on my way to work, when I had my apartment in Florida, I would pass my old house every single day, twice.
Wow.
Past my old elementary school, so like I'm literally like having nostalgia every single day, multiple times a day, because it's like, not that I lived that life before, but I've been there. I went to that school. I have so many memories in that neighborhood. So yeah, those are all the places I lived, and it's cool like to have on my career sort of follow my dad's path as well.
Yeah, bro. That's most people don't get, like, as far as like Memphis, Cali, Florida, like all across the country, and being able to relive something in another area. If anybody gets to relive that, usually it's just because they haven't really left the same area they grew up in. It's not you get to go back to these different areas all around, which is crazy. That's a cool thing that the military, allows people to experience. So what originally sparked your interest in real estate?
So it has to go back to the year 2000, 2001, when my mom bought me that gift, because it was a big thing, because she had to drop some money on this present, right? But it was it's like a professional software to design houses. So, man, I spent hours. Like, if I had to guess, I probably spent like close to 1,000 hours just on that software throughout my life. So, she bought it when I was 7 when she bought it for me, and from 7 to high school, I designed like thousands of houses.
Damn.
So I definitely spent over 1,000 hours like on that. So I always had a passion for real estate, but what I do now is sort of completely different than designing houses and being like an engineer or architect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more like on the investment side. So, but that's what sparked my interest back 24 years ago when my mom bought me that software.
Okay. That's a cool. I bet that there's not many people that's their spark. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, I got out of this one job and I didn't know what to do, and my friend did real estate. He told me to try it. Like, that's a unique like origin story for you. Did you start by using a VA loan, or did you get into it in a different way?
That's a great question. So yeah, for all the people in the military that is not using the VA loan, you're killing yourself. When we rent, we're paying 100% interest. So like having that ownership is a key. So my last year of that apartment that I owned in Jacksonville, they was raising the rent like $100, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's not too crazy, but at the same time, like I'm barely getting by with what the rent is now. So that's what sparked me. Like, man, let me go out here and see if I can buy a house, right? So November of 2017, we closed on our first house using the VA loan. So I honestly wish I still had that house, but we sold it at a good basis. and that sort of allowed me to transition, leaving the military, taking that leap of faith. Because when I got out the Navy, I did not know I was going to have a job on the other side. I knew I wanted to do certain things, but yeah, when I got out, or when I was preparing to get out, I did not have a job already lined up. So selling that house that we bought with the VA loan definitely allowed us to have a cushion to live life the same way.
That's good, bro. You got to use your resources that are within arm's length, man. All right, so how easy or hard would you say that it is to get in your line of work, and how easy or hard is it for someone if they want to invest with you?
Okay. So to answer the first question, what I do is simple, but it's not easy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, there's definitely a lot of hard work that goes into it, but what I would love everyone to understand is if one person can be successful in real estate, and real estate has so many different avenues, Airbnb, fix and flip, buying a home, real estate, there's so many avenues to go down, and like you can get lost, but like there's so many different like avenues that people can like walk down on real estate, but it's not hard though. Like that's what I want people to get. So what I do is I'm an apartment operator. My firm that I work with, we syndicate, so we acquire like income producing apartment buildings through syndication. So we'll pool investors' money together to be able to buy these apartment buildings that like they cash flow. So
Okay.
sort of like buying a business, bro. So we're doing like a financial audit of these assets, and then if we can identify an opportunity to add value, that's sort of another thing we talked about earlier, adding value to people's lives.
Mm-hmm.
So adding value to the community, adding value to our investors by giving them the returns. So that concept is not taught though. So there's nothing to go on YouTube and try to find all these answers, or to pick up books that are someone who's done it to learn what they did and try to replicate it. Because in real estate, I would say you should never reinvent the wheel. If you see it's working for someone else and it's in that same avenue that you want to pursue, man, tap into them. If they have a mentorship program, maybe like dive into that or read their book. But the information's out there, but sometimes it's not structured the way people need to be taught it.
Yeah.
So what was the second half of your question?
Let's see. Second half. Oh, if someone wants to invest with you or your company, is that like an option people can access?
Yeah, absolutely. So like if they go to www.excitecapital.com, they can learn more about the firm that I work with, the company I work with.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we work with accredited investors, so they have to make a certain amount, but we also sometimes work with non-accredited investors where there's not that SEC limit. Because when you're raising capital the way that we do, like the Securities Commission, they make the rules, right? They make the tax rules, they make all the rules.
Yeah.
So you got to follow their guidelines. So depending on what opportunity we have, yeah, they could definitely go to our website and learn a little bit more about us, book a call, we can talk. But
Hey, hit up Miles, y'all. You want to get rolling in real estate? Yeah, this is your boy right here. I'll let you pick which one you want to answer. All right, you can either go military or you can go real estate. What would you suggest someone does before they get involved in one of those two routes for career?
Okay. So, and I might not be answering your question directly, but what I would recommend is everyone, man, do one little stint in the military. Because you can set yourself up for the rest of your life with that little 4-year sacrifice. So, to give a little context to the people, I spent 10 years in the Navy, but I could have got out after my first contract and been successful. But sometimes when you go into a venture and not know exactly the exit plan, you can get lost in the sauce. Like, you can get lost in the woods. So, if you had that game plan, like, hey, I'm just gonna do 4 years, and they gonna pay for my college, and then get out the military, and then now you're getting paid to go to college instead of pursuing college and then being tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. You can get paid to go to school. So, I would recommend everyone go to the military first, but I know it's not for everyone, but I feel like everyone should do it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. So let me ask you this: so if you were in there 10 years. If you could go back, would you only do 4 or would you do 10?
Tyler, I thought about that often, man. So, to answer your question directly, I would do 10. Like,
Okay.
in certain moments after I re-enlisted, because my first contract was maybe only 4 or 5 years, so I ended up re-enlisting, staying longer. Probably at some duration of that 5 years, I was like, man, I should got the hell out. But
Mm-hmm.
the reason why I'm confident in saying that I'm glad I did the 10 is because I met so many great people in my last enlistment. Like, they're family now, you know. So, yeah, absolutely, without a doubt, I'm glad I did the amount of time that I did, learn all the things that I did, met all the people that I did. So,
Just a little personal, but like, do you feel like in your personal life, do you get enough time with the kids and the wife and the work to enjoy a hobby for yourself that you enjoy?
Tyler, you coming with some great questions, man. So, to be completely transparent, I'm still working on a work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the military, I'm so used to being like mission-oriented, mission-focused. Like, hey, if this needs to get done, let's make it happen. So, how I bring that into my life now on the real estate side is there's there's forever going to be work to be done.
Yeah.
We're looking for our next opportunity, or we're doing market research on that opportunity, or there's just so much that goes into it. The work is never over. So sometimes I'll spend my weekends working. I'll put the family to bed and I'll stay up working. So
Yeah.
still working on that balance. And I don't even think it might not even be a work-life balance. It's more like harmony between work and life.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to hobbies, so my household is really big on basketball. My wife, she's like a middle school coach.
Oh, okay.
She plays in like little, I don't even know how they would call it, just the kids running around trying to play.
Yeah.
All right, when we first started playing basketball, like how young we were,
Yeah.
it's cool seeing her like running up and down the court like we used to. But yeah, our hobbies are around basketball, so I would love to be able to spend more time as a family going to events. But as of now, I've probably done a poor job. Like last season, man, because of like how my wife's games fell on, I didn't get to go to any of her basketball games. So I wish I would have been able to. But like in hindsight, I'm sort of kicking myself in the butt. And, like I wish I would have took some time off to go support her because she's always supporting me. So
Hey, man, a man of honesty is one that can direct his path where he needs to go next. You know what I mean?
and sometimes with that, like to take that a step further, being honest with yourself. Like being
Yeah.
able to look in the mirror and being like, "Hey, dude, you should have." Like, I'm not a woulda, coulda, shoulda type of person, but you know, in hindsight, looking back on it, saying, "Damn, okay, the whole season I couldn't make it to one game." Like, I'm gonna kick myself into next season for that. So, being honest with yourself is very key.
That's good, bro. And you know, any way, and it's not just bringing value to the listeners; it's value for me and you. You know what I mean? Like anything that you and I can take from this conversation, like I just want everybody involved, the viewers, the person on the pod, me, to come out with something going, you know what, I could probably do that now. Or like I could change a little bit this here, I could tweak this here, or that's really cool that they did that. I wonder if I could do that. You know, anything like that.
Absolutely.
All right, now we got the game. We got the game. So I'm going to give you a bunch of different things. Each time I mention, it's going to be two things. You got to pick one. You can't tell me why, but you got to pick one.
Damn, I'm the type of person I like to elaborate.
Yeah, me too, bro. Me too. So, military or real estate?
Real estate.
Real estate? Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Ooh, night owl.
Night owl. Lifting weights or running?
Lifting weights.
Okay. America first or tend to the needs of the world?
America first.
Let's go. All right. Pancakes or waffles?
I'm gonna hit the listeners with POW. P-O-W. If they know what that is.
P-O-W?
Pancakes over waffles.
Oh, no. So what I got to go, if I'm waffles, I got to go with WAP?
What?
The new meaning of WAP? All right. We're going back serious. Trump or Biden?
So we still in the portion where I can't elaborate, huh?
Yeah.
Because I feel like so. You know, all right. Let me just get to the answer then. Trump.
Okay. Tennessee or Florida?
Tennessee.
Okay. Lavish lifestyle or modest lifestyle?
Modest.
Okay. Light or dark liquor?
Dark.
Let's go. Let's go. All right. Winter all year long or summer all year long? I already know.
Summer, without a doubt.
Summer all day. All right. Would you rather be 16 again for a day or 21 again for a day?
21.
21? All right. Army or Air Force?
Army.
Army. Okay. This one's going to make you laugh.
Let me not take a sip there.
Winton or Jamal?
You ain't lying, boy.
Hey, is somebody on your bad side lately?
You gonna set me up? I can't answer that.
All right. You ain't got to answer. But I thought that would be funny, though. That'd be funny.
That's hilarious, dude.
You know they on the edge of their seats watching like,
I can't answer that one.
all right, fair enough. Tell me, do you want more kids? You got 2 right now, right? So what are you thinking?
Yeah, my daughter's 7, my son's 2. I got the best of both worlds. I'm through.
Does your wife agree?
I would say absolutely. Yeah, being a girl dad and a boy dad is interesting, man. I'm not gonna treat them differently. At least I think I'm not going to. But
Yeah.
when the opportunity presents itself, like how will I approach it?
Yeah. I'm sure there's all different types of situations that come up. Just having both, and the older they get, it'll be more different situations. And when your boy starts going through the same age that your girl was at a certain time, it'll be a completely different thing than when she was that age because she was a girl, you know. But at the same time, they're also kids, and they're, you know, you've been through it with the little girl too. But I will say you got some beautiful kids too, man. Like that's something to be proud of too.
Thank you, brother. I'm just glad that they're healthy, but yeah, their attitudes are always beautiful.
Hey, that's what we grow from, though. You know, it can't be perfect. You know, we can't have the sunshine without the rain. I'm coming from a guy with no kids. That's all I know to say. What's a big goal that's on your radar when it comes to real estate?
Ooh, this is gonna sound crazy to some people, but it's so when it comes to goals, before I say the goal, I want to hit people with this. So, like you've heard of the SMART goals, like specific, measurable.
Yeah, we use that. Yeah.
So, I definitely get with that. I can get with a SMART, specific goal. You need to be specific. You need to be able to measure your goal, whether it's like a key performance indicator or the goal needs to be achievable, quote unquote, right? So with this is like where perspective comes into play. My goal is to help my firm get to $5 billion worth of assets under management. So that sounds like a big figure.
Yeah.
We've been around for 5 years as of like a couple weeks ago, and right now we have 168 million. So we got a long way before we even get to that billing mark, let alone 5 billion. So yeah, that's my goal. So it's sort of like a company goal, but I want to help them achieve that goal, and in pursuit of that goal, I'm going to be rewarded tenfold, you know what I'm saying? Just from all the efforts and the value that I provide the company. So
yeah, and along the way, the things that you'll learn too, you know, it's going to be so valuable, and then you'll be able to, because real estate is something anyone can do, or that you could also pass down to your children. That'd be something you could tell. I already see it. You could teach them. You could pass down. You could set them up for life in certain ways, you know.
And Tyler, man, I really want to take this a step further because generational wealth is not something that's talked about often, but it's like, man, I was so ignorant and naive. For years, I thought generational wealth was you die and you give an amount of money to the next generation. But no, generational wealth can be knowledge.
Yeah.
So I mentioned like you can learn new things and everyone can do it. Absolutely, everyone can do what we do. It's just about receiving that knowledge. So I need to do a better job of like putting it out there, but I'm teaching my daughter about taxes. I'm teaching my daughter about credit. I'm teaching my daughter about all of these things because I don't want her to go into the world and be lost. Like nothing against my parents, but man, I didn't know what interest rate on credit card was leaving the house.
Yeah.
So I'm in the real world swiping my card, thinking if I got a $2,000 limit, I got $2,000 extra dollars. Just like financially illiterate. So having those conversations within the house, man, it's key. But generational wealth, man.
Big facts, bro. I already know you're gonna pass it down to him. I already know. Give me your best guess. what do you think that your daughter and your son will grow up to be as like their careers? I know they're young.
Yeah, and it's definitely gonna like change so many times over. But I can see my daughter being a lawyer. The
Okay.
way she sort of like in in a good way argumentative. Sometimes it's disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Like yes ma'am instead of saying your piece. Just hit your mom with yes ma'am and then maybe explain afterwards. But I can see her being a lawyer. And my son, yeah, he's just 2, so it's hard to ping.
Yeah.
But you know, like they say, like you sort of have 2 sides of your brain, like a more artistic side and then maybe more of a logical side.
Uh huh.
I can see him. He displays both sides, like or like predominant in some areas, but I can see him being more like an artistic side. So like I can't put a career on that, but I can see him being more like creative versus being like I don't know.
So you think your girl will be more on the logic side with the lawyer thing, maybe?
That's an interesting point because you would instantly think so being a lawyer, but I see her being a creative too. So she likes to dance, she likes arts and stuff like that too. So that doesn't necessarily align with being a lawyer, but hey, that's a great question. I'm gonna be looking for that every time she talks. And stuff.
And we're gonna be able to come back to this podcast when they're grown and be like, oh, this is what we thought when you were this young. You know, you never know. Hey, you never know. And we may do another podcast in the future too, to where it changes. You know. So let me ask you this: you ever thought about moving to Texas? Would you consider it?
I definitely want to own real estate in Texas.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, man, Texas has everything that I would want because I want acres. Dude. I want land. I want to be able to like step outside my house and like any direction I look, like I own it.
It's yours.
So, yeah. So there's some spots in Texas that I definitely have like my eye on, but Tennessee has those same things. So I'm not there yet, but I would like to be in a situation where I could have multiple properties in different states where I could just. Because man, how I grew up traveling every 3 years, having to pick up and leave. That put something into my DNA where I have to still do that. Like, to give that some context, when I was growing up, I changed the layout of my room every 2 weeks because I like change.
Really?
And, like, I want to be able to like up and leave and go to Texas for a month and just kick it at that house, at the beach house, and then go to I don't know if I ever own real estate in Washington State, but definitely like just travel. You know, I want to give those experiences to my family as well that I grew up with. So.
That's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. All right, so last question for you. Last question. If right now you could pick up and go and you could have the house, the land you wanted, everything that you want for your kids, your wife, you, what state would you go to? Like what city, what state? If you could have everything you needed in that city.
Okay, so I'm glad you asked this question because earlier when you asked me the Tennessee or Florida, I had to just pick one. So I'm going to choose Tennessee and now I can elaborate.
All right.
Go anywhere. It would be, and I don't know necessarily the town, but I'm going to hit you with the region. So I would want to be in like the mountains, dude. I would want to be somewhere in the Appalachian Mountains.
Really?
Within like a 5-hour drive to Memphis. So like that might be a little question mark, but
Yeah.
I would want to have mountain views, and I want a body of water on my property, whether it's a lake, a pond, a stream, or a river. So, yeah, somewhere in eastern Tennessee with some acreage and a nice view. Come on, y'all, we moving tomorrow.
Yeah. So.
Oh, crap, we leaving today.
So is part of that because you're also at that point close to the ocean? Because you kind of said earlier, didn't you like warmer climates, right?
I do, and that is something like I want to be financially dependent or independent to the point where I could just have multiple properties. Maybe have a beach.
So you could just go.
Because man, these winters, I'm a snowbird. When it's wintertime, let me go down south. But overall, for the majority of the year, Tennessee has what I need. So. I'll make that couple months in the wintertime sacrifice for those mountain views.
Okay, I got you, man. I like a mountain view myself. But hey, man, I appreciate you being on the podcast. Before you go, I want to say that your dad He coached us in basketball. Like growing up, I know you played higher level basketball than me. I just played the rec league, and your dad coached us and whatnot. But he was like one of those coaches that was kind of like another father figure for me. And even though I had like a good relationship with my dad and my stepdad, I don't feel like you can ever have too many of those as a young man. Like a good role model as a man, and so he taught me a lot. I felt like I learned life lessons just through basketball with him, how to be a leader, how to act, how to carry myself. And I appreciate it a lot, probably more than you or him even knows. You know, like it had an effect on me for real. And I want to show that appreciation. But, you know, we've become great friends over the years, even though sometimes we've had gaps of not talking for a long time. We've still been, we can just pick up and run with it, here and there when we see each other, and it's been great, man.
Hey, he's gonna love those flowers, man. that gave me goosebumps. I was thinking back to our childhood, dude. I've known you over 2 decades, man. 2/3 of my life, like I've known you, man. That's impactful, bro. I remember the first time I met you, bro. It was on a football field. And
for the I forgot the first time we met was with the Bulldogs.
Tigers, right?
No, the Bulldogs. Was it the Bulldogs or the Tigers?
Oh, I was the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
It was the Bulldogs. It was the Bulldogs. I forgot the damn. That's why.
Yeah. It's a little league.
Yeah, man. So that's over 20 years ago, dude. So that's crazy, man. But it definitely speaks volumes to be able to have those gaps where we might not talk, but man, definitely always keeping up and following you though. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, family, bro, and I'm gonna forever love you. Always root for you. Always I don't know, be there with you. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm not there. So
absolutely,
it's
the same on this side, bro. I appreciate you. Cheers, brother.